evening. Awesome. Well, it's time to get started. So I'm gonna move over to my mat and we'll get ourselves going. I was actually gonna have us start in some type of supported gentle inversion. So elevating the legs in whichever way works best for you, just to kind of get that inversion going from our day. We've probably been mostly vertical today. And this, we have already done some yoga classes. So I'll start explaining that a little bit more on the mat. I'm going to mute everyone now, but you can always unmute yourself if you have any questions or comments. So neck and shoulders, maybe some hips and stuff in there too, like we normally do. So inversions, counteracting the pull of gravity on our body from our day. If you've done lots of sitting today, like I have, a wonderful way to immediately get some benefits to our body. If you're near a wall and you want to flip yourself around and go into legs up the wall, you're welcome to. If you just have pillows or blankets that you want to stack underneath your knees or your lower legs, please do that. I'm going to show this example. I have a chair, so if you happen to have a chair or you're nearby a piece of furniture, a lazy boy, a sofa, a little poof or ottoman, that's great as well. And I'm going to add the addition of this long folded blanket to go the length of my spine, because I have been sitting at a computer all day, kind of hunched over my laptop. So I want to add the additional opening for the chest and the heart. Now, if you've had that issue with the neck and overarching the head backwards, go ahead and put a little bit of support behind the head as well, so that you can keep the back of the skull elevated. And of course, you're always welcome to begin in any position, so you can be comfortable and just to take that time to reconnect to our body and our breath for our class this evening. So I'm going to give us all a moment here to figure out where we want to be. If you're taking any support underneath the back, you can leave a little bit of room between the low back, keeping the low back grounded. Stretch those legs out over your props, wherever they might be. You want a little bit more for the chest and heart right away. We'll cactus our arms, dropping the elbows outside the shoulders and then the backs of the hands to the ground. Just getting a nice stretch here. Take a moment to loosen up the clothing, make adjustments with your surroundings and yourself. When we're in the place we want to begin, let's start with a nice big breath to start our practice. Just take a deep breath in through the nose. Let's fill the body up. And a nice big breath back out. You're more than welcome to open the mouth and let out a nice sighing breath. Kind of shrug that breath out and just feel any tension and stress leave the body. We're letting go of where we came from. We're letting go of any to-do lists we might have, any outside worries and stress we've been carrying around. Bundle all those things that place them outside an exterior wall or door. And if we really need all that stuff, that'll be waiting for us at the end of our practice. But for the next hour, we don't need to think about it. We can let it go. Feel a quality of heaviness come over the body. Relax all the muscles of the body. Poof the cheeks with air. Wiggle out the mouth if you tend to be a little bit of a jaw clencher like I am. Feel the weight of the limbs, the legs, and the arms. And continue to mentally move through the body, letting go of lingering tension and tightness. Begin to spread awareness to the breath now. Just observe and watch the body breathe. Every inhale, an opportunity to fill ourselves up with fresh prana, energy, and air. And every exhale, another opportunity to clean everything out, exhaling away stale old air and energy. We'll spend a few more moments here with our breath. And we'll allow this breath to grow on its own this evening. We might notice the rise and fall of the abdomen. You might notice movement around our rib cage, the chest, even the back of the heart. If you'd like to add a soft ujjayi pranayama to our breathing this evening, feel free to do so. A very gentle constriction in the base and back of the throat. Ujjayi breathing helps slow the breath down. That soft vibration creates that ocean-like sound, almost like a whisper. It helps stimulate the thyroid, parathyroid, benefiting our endocrine system. And it also gives something for the mind to focus and concentrate on. So I'm going to share another passage from Catching the Big Fish by David Lynch to start our practice this evening. He begins by sharing another passage from the Upanishads. It says, "One unbounded ocean of consciousness became light, water, and matter. And the three became many. And this way, the whole universe was created as an unbounded ocean of consciousness, ever unfolding within itself." He goes on to say, "The ocean of pure consciousness that Maharishi Mahesh Yogi talked about is also known by modern science as the unified field. When Maharishi first arrived in the United States in 1959, the unified field from quantum physics hadn't yet been discovered. So people would say, 'Oh, that's baloney. They're looking for some field at the base of everything, but it doesn't really exist. No one knows if it's true.' But then about 30 years ago, quantum physics discovered this field. They discovered it by going into matter, deeper and deeper and deeper. And one day, there it was, the unified field. And then scientists like Dr. John Hagelin said that it's true. Every single thing that is a thing emerges from this field. So modern science and ancient science are coming together. Vedic science, the science of consciousness, studies the laws of nature, the constitution of the universe, and how it all unfolds. In Vedic science, this ocean of pure consciousness is called Atma, the self. Know thyself. Well, how? You don't know yourself by looking in the mirror. You don't know yourself by sitting down and having a talk with yourself. But it's there, within, within, within. So as we allow our attention to turn inward, we can go deeper into ourselves, creating this awareness from within. We utilize the breath to make that connection from mind to body. And we utilize the movement of the body to become this moving meditation to discover more about ourselves. So let's take a couple more deep breaths here, allowing again that breath to go a little deeper, become a little fuller from the inside. And one more round of breath, trying to let this breath be our biggest breath of our day, remembering that we don't force or strain the breath. But on that next inhale, seeing how much we can expand and grow the breath and fill ourselves up. And then when we get to our exhale, slowly start to release the breath. And take the time to empty, empty, empty every single drop out of the body. At the bottom of that breath, we can let go of following it for a moment. It'll wander away wherever it wants to. Start to feel the physical body and the contact it is making with the props and the floor below. We'll start to bring life back into our body with little movements, a wiggle of the toes and fingertips, a gentle rock of that head side to side. Depending where we are, you can elongate through the legs, stretching them out one at a time, point and flex the toes. You may try to extend the arms overhead even further, coming into your version of a long body stretch here. And then again, working with your props in your position. If we're on our back, we can step those feet in. We might be able to draw the knees in towards the chest and give our body a slight rock side to side here. And then let's bring one arm beside the head, roll off our side and pause, or roll onto our side and pause for a moment. And then we're going to press into the ground. And those of us that are already stacked up on some props, I am going to have us come back down onto our back tonight to do some of our warming movements, but we'll clear our space for now. So if you have blankets and pillows, or you need to reposition yourself on your mat, go ahead and do that now. Just do so carefully. And then we'll end up back on our back. So if you beat me to it and you're on your back, we'll start by drawing the knees back in towards the body and just rocking side to side here to massage and stretch out that lower back. So once we're in our supine position, hands to knees, drawing them in, rocking motion. Now hold on to just the right shin bone or behind the right thigh, depending on your knee, and extend the left leg forward and all the way down to the ground for our Pavana Mutasana. Interweave all 10 fingers on that shin bone, draw the shoulder blades down, let the elbows come in close to the body. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, we're going to encourage the right knee towards the right armpit. So the knee isn't moving directly towards the chest, it's moving just slightly off to the side. We're gonna hold wind relieving pose for a couple breaths here. The legs are relaxed. Don't let the legs do any work here. Your hands are doing the work. On the inhale, you may loosen your grip a little bit. Try to inflate the abdomen. And then on the exhale, find a little bit of that purposeful compression. So this pose is a nice stretch for the hip. It is also compression of the abdominal wall and our ascending colon. Inhales, you can back off a little bit, try to inflate the belly. And then exhale. Shoulders down, elbows in. Just use the strength of the hands to find that compression. Let's do one more on the side. After that last exhale, knee to armpit. On this inhale, let go of your grip, slide the right foot down and all the way out to meet the left, so both legs are straight. Also, reach your arms back overhead, let your low back gently arch. We're getting the blood flow all the way back out into our limbs. Exhale, arms down, step the feet in. Draw both knees into the body, do a little rock side to side for that low back. Other side, Pavana Mutasana, interweave all 10 fingers on the left shin bone and slide that right foot down and out so the right leg is straight. And relax the legs, relax the hips, relax the feet. The work is coming from the hands. You can hold behind the thigh if it's better for your knee. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, we draw left knee to left armpit. So it's not falling out into a big wide stretch. It's still staying close to the body because we want to feel that compression in the hip and on the belly, but it just moves out a little bit so we're not compressing the rib cage so much. Inhale, back off, inflate the abdomen as much as you can. Exhale, draw it in. Use that breath, inhaling. And exhale, descending colon on this side. And one more time. Exhale, squeeze. Next, inhale, release the grip. The foot drops down, slides out. Arms overhead. Big stretch. Let the low back arch. Let that blood rush back out to fingertips and toes. Exhale, arms down. Step the feet in. Now, if you have a yoga block nearby, we'll take our yoga block or a book or whatever props you have at home and place it between our inner thighs. Line the heels up with the sit bones here. Knees point towards the toes. Adjust those shoulders down. We're going to go through some flowing bridge poses here. So tighten up the backside, squeeze the glutes and the hamstring. Inhale, lift the hips up to the ceiling. The chest will move towards the chin, especially as we start to go a little deeper into the pose after a couple rounds. Exhale, lower the hips down to the ground. Move with that Samavritti Pranayama. Even, equal breathing. So this pose tones and strengthens the back side of the body and stretches now. So we just compress the front of those hips. Now we're stretching the hip flexors. If we want a little bit of that shoulder, root of the neck action on the inhales, when the hips lift up, we'll reach the arms up and overhead. Remember that the weight should go into the shoulders, not the neck. And on the exhale, hips and arms come down. If you don't have a prop between your inner thighs, just keep that energy there. Try to avoid the knees falling out. Let's take 2 more rounds, whatever variation you're choosing to do. We'll meet again when our hips are down and arms are down beside the body. Take the prop out. Now keep those knees bent, but walk your feet as wide as the yoga mat. You may even feel the long edge of your mat running down the middle of the feet. Cactus those arms from the shoulders. Bend the elbows out from the shoulders. Drop the backs of the hands towards the floor. Windshield wiper pose, again with the breath, so a nice fluid movement. Take a deep breath in. The exhale will let the knees fall off to the right hand side. The head may turn to the left, getting that little twist for the neck. You'll notice your left side arches up from the floor, stretching the quad, the hip, the waist. The inhale moves us up through neutral. And then the exhale takes the knees to the left and the head turns to the right. Right side arches up, gets the big stretch to the front of the body. Follow your breath. Keep both shoulders grounded. If you're turning the neck the opposite direction, maybe see how far you can see on the floor beside you. Mindful movements. Let's flow one more time to each side. So you'll do one more time with the knees to the right. And one more time with the knees to the left. After you've balanced yourself out, we're going to meet in center here with the knees back up to the ceiling. Draw the belly in, slide your arms down. One more time, hug those knees into the body. Let's take our hands behind those thighs and stretch our legs up to the ceiling. Point and flex those feet a couple times now. We are trying to get our legs as straight as possible, so if you grip the meaty part of the hamstrings, you should be able to press your thigh bones forward into the meaty part of that muscle, into your hands, feeling the eyes of the knees open up. Keep the low belly pulling in and the low back rounded. Hold the outside of the thighs, open the legs up, Supta Konasana. The elbows can come to the ground, and we support the weight of the legs to make sure we're not overstretching those groin and our thigh muscles. Roll the ankles. To deepen the stretch, hands move to the inside. Massage those muscles up and down. Gravity is our friend, helping to stretch those muscles out. Take one more big breath in. On the exhale, squeeze those legs back up. Help with the hands as needed. All the way back to waterfall pose. Bend those knees, hug them in. Nose to knees. Tuck the chin towards the chest to stretch out the root of the neck. Then relax the head down. Arm beside the head. Roll onto one side. Pause for a moment. Head on the arm. Sleeping baby pose. Press into the ground. Stretch out that top leg. That helps you to come up. And we're going to come all the way up to a seat. So we'll take a seated position here. As you know, I would suggest sitting up on something a little firmer. So 2 yoga blocks side by side, folded blankets, towels, or cushions. If the knees need additional support, use your blocks or other props you have around you to give to them. And we'll take any comfortable seated position. So you can go right into Sukhasana, easy cross pose. You can align heel to heel, whichever way works best for your back. Move the flesh out of the way so that we can find those sit bones. And then sit up nice and tall through the crown of the head. So we are using a little bit of abdominal strength here to keep the spine at neutral. Reach those arms out beside the body, turning the palms up. Let's inhale. Reach those arms out wide, all the way up towards the ceiling. Turn the palms out, bring the fingertips to the ground. Keep the spine straight, but tonight let's drop the chin to the chest as the arms come down. Look towards the belly button. Inhale, reach up and up, floating the chin upwards, gazing upwards if that works for your neck tonight. On the exhale, palms down, fingertips to the floor without rounding the spine. Draw the chin towards the chest. One more time. Good. So this next exhale, we're going to pause here with the chin to the chest. Now you can just shrug your shoulders down away from the ears so let your arms become those wet noodles, or you can continue to reach your fingertips out. You have to interpret what works best for the body tonight. I'm going to just kind of let mine go, but I'm not shrugging my back. So I'm very tall through my torso and my spine, but I'm just letting the arms kind of fall away from my shoulder or ears. On the inhale, let's roll our right ear to our right shoulder and gaze slightly forward. Exhale, chin comes straight back down through center. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. You can gaze slightly forward. Exhale, roll it down. Go ahead and do this a couple times. So we'll take it one more time to our right side. One more time to our left side, whenever you get there. After you balance yourself out, we're going to meet with an exhale down towards the chin, but lift the chin up towards the chest. Now re-extend those fingertips, turn the palms out. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Float the chin up. Now you can keep your chin parallel to the floor or take that gaze upwards. Bring the palms to touch this time and exhale, hands to heart. So we'll do a little bit more work with our neck and shoulders tonight, but first I want us to switch up the cross of our legs, give them a quick wiggle if you need to. So this is probably our awkward seated stance because we always tend to go into the one we like best. So we'll do a little bit more release for the neck. From here, on the exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Again, you can kind of let the arms be wet noodles, the spine is long and tall, or reach out to those fingertips. A little bit more, the left arm floats from the floor and reaches out to an invisible object we're trying to reach, and you might feel it intensify that stretch. We can also take both hands, one up to the shoulder, the right fingertips right above the ear, and put some more lengthening into the neck. At this point, this is where we can take our gaze back down towards the lap if we need that bigger stretch for the back of the neck. And if another version of that felt a little bit better for you today, then go back to it. This I'll take one more breath. Now keep the head where it's at. Bring the fingertips back down to the ground. Inhale, roll that chin straight back down to the chest. Look to the belly button. Turn the palms out. Inhale, reach out and up. The chin floats parallel, or you can lift it up slightly towards the ceiling. Exhale, fingertips back down to the floor, chin parallel. And then we'll drop our left ear to left shoulder. Extend the fingertips or shrug the arms down. Keep the posture in the spine. Right arm may reach out and away for a little bit deeper, lengthening and stretch. You may place the fingertips to the top of the shoulder, left fingertips just above the ear, thinking about lengthening and stretching it out. At this point, dropping that gaze back down towards the lap. I do tend to hold more of my tension up the back instead of the side of the neck, so this feels a little bit better for me. Equal weight in the sit bones. One more breath. And the next exhale, roll the chin straight back down to the chest, look to the belly button. Turn those palms out, inhale, reach out and up, big stretch. We're gonna go right into our seated twist tonight. So on the exhale, rotate to the right. Fingertips may reach towards the opposite knee and behind the body. Remember, there is no weight in those hands. Sit up tall, shoulders chin parallel. We're gonna take that twist all the way up to the crown of the head. Open the eyes, use your peripheral vision to peek behind the body. Continue to breathe in and out through the nose. Now we'll hold the twist in our body tonight. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, turn just the head to look forward. And then try to look over the left shoulder. So body twisting to the right, head twisting to the left. Again, you may drop your chin down slightly to go towards more of the back of the neck. Big breath in. To release, we exhale, release the head, the shoulders, the arms, and the body to come back forward. Inhale, both arms up. Other side, exhale, rotate around the axis of the spine so the spine stays long and tall. Fingertips may reach to opposite knee and behind the body. Continue that rotation all the way up through the neck. Eyes are wide, peripheral vision finding that furthest point behind you. Keep the twist in the body. Take a big inhale. On the exhale, just the head's going to turn forward. And then we'll try to gaze over that right shoulder. Chin drops down slightly for back of the neck stretch. Counter twisting the head away from the body. Good. Big breath in. And on the exhale, release the head, the shoulders, the arms, and the body back forward. One more time. Give me a big breath in. Stretch it up as tall as we can when you get there. Bring those palms to touch. Exhale to our center. All right, so let's make another transition now. Go for a couple more poses to get into our low back and our hips. Been sitting for a little bit, so give those legs a stretch out, pedal the feet, prance the legs one at a time. And then we'll move ourselves around and meet in tabletop position. Add extra cushion underneath the knees as needed. Let's stack those joints. Spread those fingers. Going right into cat-cows, we can get some extension and flexion for the back now. Inhale, relax that belly. Stretch the spine super long from the tip of the tail to the crown of the head. Exhale, draw that belly in, scoop the tail under, draw that chin towards the chest to stretch out the neck, drishti to the belly button. Some of us might need to stay here tonight, little lateral movements in the shoulders, the neck, or continue to let your breath be your guide, moving that breath like a wave up and down the spine. Go ahead and balance the body out. Come back to neutral. And then we'll sit our body back and down into child's pose or balasana to give our low back and hips another stretch. So knees open, nice and wide, big toes touch. Use those props behind you to elevate the hips as needed for our knees. Otherwise, try to sink those sit bones to the heels. Now we can keep our fingertips extending forward to the front corners of that mat as the heart and head melt down to the ground. Remember, we do want our head to be in contact with the floor. So whether that's stacked fists or a prop, give your forehead something to be grounded on. Another nice arm position to help stretch around the outside of the shoulders. And we could even give ourselves a little soft massage here. Bend at the elbows. Well, first, bring your hands into prayer position, so palm to palm. Bend at the elbows, and you may place the thumbs at the nape of the neck. Walk your elbows slightly more forward. So that's going to intensify the stretch for the side bodies and the lats. But if your hands are back there, go ahead and take your fingertips and start kneading and massaging into the traps, the top of the shoulders, the back of the neck. I know it always feels better to receive a massage, but self-massage can have quite a bit of benefit for the body, for our muscles, and to help us relax. So if you have your hands back there, knead into those tight muscles, the back of the neck, give them a little squeeze, a little massage. All the while giving our low back and hips a big stretch in this pose. One more breath. And then on the next inhale, reach those hands forward. That felt really good. I'm going to keep going with the massage. We're going to bring our bodies back up and bring ourselves back to tabletop. So stack those joints, nice strong arms. Keep your hips nice and level. Go ahead and give your right leg a stretch behind you so we get that benefit of the blood rushing back through that knee joint. We may shift our weight back through that heel to intensify that stretch. Breathe it in. Exhale, right knee down. Stretch that left leg back out there. Really press that heel, equal weight in the hands. Breathe it in. Exhale, knee down. So let's go into our downward facing dog. Hands can walk at least one hand's distance forward. Toes are tucking under. Draw the low belly in. Try to press equally through the hands to float the hips up. You can stay up on your tippy toes for a moment. Stretch out the backs of the legs. And then on the exhale, sink the heels towards the ground and try to allow the heels to sink equally parallel to each other. Take that dog for a walk, dropping one heel at a time to the mat. So do try to keep the shoulder blades strong here, drawing down the back. Feel free to add that little look underneath the armpits, kind of side to side. More of a Ashtanga type downward facing dog. We actually do draw the chin to the chest and bring our drishti to our belly button. So that's another way to get a little bit deeper into the back of the neck. Spread that weight out to the first knuckles of the fingertips so the wrists aren't doing all the work. And just enjoy being upside down here for a moment. But remember, take breaks as needed back to tabletop or child's pose. One more breath. Try to find stillness in the pose. Tonight, let's bend our knees and see if we can walk our hands back towards our feet into Uttanasan. We'll modify by keeping our knees deeply bent and placing our elbows, our hands on our thighs. Some of us might be coming up to vertical. Staying in forward fold. Feet are strong, legs are strong. If you want to deepen this, take your hands to your elbows into ragdoll pose, where you may sway side to side in the upper half of the body. As long as the core is engaged, use your lower locks to help support that back to the pelvic floor muscles, squeezing and lifting in and up, and those abdominal muscles. You can give that head a happy shake. Yes, I'm happy that I showed up for myself in my practice tonight. A little shake, no, I don't need to hold on to anything that doesn't serve my practice or myself tonight. Now we'll micro bend the knees, bring our hands under our thighs with the fingers turned in, tuck that chin, strong feet and legs, the core, inhale, roll up through the spine, one vertebra at a time. The head should be the very last thing that comes up. Once we're vertical, try to take even more air in right away, turning the palms out and reaching up. Bring those palms to touch and exhale to our center. So make sure we have a nice strong foundation here, as symmetrical as possible between our feet. Knees are unlocked, front body to back body. Shrug those shoulders away from the ears and let the head just float on top of the shoulders. We'll go right into our palm tree pose. We do this pretty much every class. Inhale, we reach out nice and wide. This time we lift the heels up. We grow several inches taller. On the exhale, we lower the heels and bring our hands to our heart. Let's do 2 more of these tonight. We'll meet on that next exhale, lowering the heels and hands to heart. So for tonight's big standing pose today, I want us to practice Prasarita Tadasana. This is going to be our big standing straddle pose. And we'll probably want a stepping stone to come down and up. At least I know I do. So if you have 2 yoga blocks, at this point, grab those blocks. We could take them up. Ooh, jumped right out of my hand. On their high setting, we'll want to turn ourselves to face the long edge of our mat so that our feet have grippings and place them shoulder width apart. Tonight, I'm going to add the addition of my chair. So if you have a chair that you want to use as another stepping stone, feel free to use that as well. Excuse me. Standing in the center of the mat, we float the fingertips to the heart. And on the inhale, we take a nice big step out. And you can inch your feet even wider once you get into the pose. Feet start parallel to each other, toes point forward. Make sure we're equally balanced in the feet in the 4 corners. So equal weight, mound the big toe inner heel and mound of the pinky toe outer heel. So we're not rolling in or out. Pull those kneecaps up the thighs, draw the belly in. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hands to hips. This is where the movement comes from. Draw those elbows back. Inhale, open the heart. Keep the core engaged. And then we'll slowly start to tip on our next exhale. And you can turn your toes in slightly to get that internal rotation as we gradually start to move into this pose. Now on the inhale, I pause, create some more length in the front of my spine. And then exhale gradually. Maybe move further into the pose. And like I said the other day, we should all be moving further into the pose mentally, maybe physically. Use that breath as the guide. If on the physical level, we're bringing our fingertips closer to the ground or to the ground, try to stay on those fingertips so we're not transferring the weight into the hands. Keep the legs strong. There's one variation of this tonight, which can feel quite nice, and it involves the Yogi Toe Grip. Your fingertips need to be comfortably on the floor to go to this next step. So if we're not there tonight, don't force or strain. If your fingertips are on the floor, you walk them out towards the big toes. And then you take Yogi Toe Grip, which is that index finger touching middle finger together. Those 2 fingers wrap around the big toe. Palms will face towards the center of the mat. The thumbs rest on the very top of the big toe, and the ring and the pinky fingers work to lock that knuckle into place. If you have the Yogi Toe Grip, at that point you flare your elbows out to the short ends of the yoga mat. You draw your shoulders out and down the back. The shoulders do not fall inward towards the ears. You are engaged through the upper back. The head, however, may release and drop down towards the ground. If you have the structural support of the legs, the core, and the shoulders, we can try to release the weight of the head, allowing it to traction out of the shoulders. Another inversion here, big stretch for the backs of the legs and inner thighs as well. So let's all try to take 2 more deep breaths. On the next inhale, or a couple, we're going to start to bring ourselves about halfway out of the pose. So fingertips will walk back forward. We'll rise back up on our props. We'll make sure that our feet are grounded and our legs are strong and the low belly is pulled in. From there, on the exhale, we'll bring one hand at a time back to those hips. And then inhale, breathing, come up through the crown of the head. Once you're upright, try to inhale even more air, reaching the arms out and up. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Now we're going to revisit this pose tonight. I'm going to give you a second option. in the arms. So I think this is Prasarita Tadasana C, but don't quote me on it. So this next version involves a chest expansion, interweaving the fingers behind the back and opening the chest and the heart. If this doesn't happen for you tonight, re-grip the hips, draw your elbows back, and use those muscles between the shoulder blades. So if you are able to get that grip behind the back, it's important to continue to draw the shoulder blades down. Especially when you go into this pose, don't let the shoulders fall to the ears. You're constantly pulling the shoulders down and away from the neck. This is going to put a lot of tractioning on that shoulder girdle, so we need to be very mindful of that. If you start to go into this pose and it's too much, you'll let go of the grip and carefully bring your feet back, your hands back down in front of you. So we're in our wide stance, toes can be slightly turned in, hands back to those hips, or try to reach around and weave all 10 fingers. Now stretch your knuckles towards the ground. Inhale. On the exhale, same thing. I'm still moving from the hips, pouring the pelvis forward. What happens is, as we start to come into that forward fold, you continue to now reach the knuckles up to the ceiling and the shoulders away from the ears. Do not let those shoulders collapse towards the ears. Eventually, the arms move all the way overhead and touch the ground behind you. Maybe not tonight, maybe not this lifetime. Pull the core in. Good, nice choices, strong core. We're going to continue. Take a couple deep breaths. You can release the head as long as your shoulders are engaged. Strong legs, strong core. Those of you that have the hand grip, on the next exhale, lower your hands towards your low back. Press through your feet. Inhale up to the crown of the head. If you bring back to the ground, just bring your hands back one at a time to your hips, and then inhale up to the crown of the head. Again, inhale even more air once you come up. Stretch those arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Heel toe. Step, step, step those feet together. Coming back to the center of our mat. Try to bring the insides of the feet and legs as close to touch as possible. And then again, inhale, we're going to reach it up. And exhale. So we're going to go right into our balance work tonight. I'm going to do a little bit different version of our balancing pose. The modification is tree pose. So heel up, knee out, sole of the foot to the lower calf or the upper thigh. This pose is called Uttanasan Uttanasana, standing pigeon pose. So it's a little bit more of a hip opening. For some of us, it might be just a little too awkward for our knee, and I don't want us to do anything uncomfortable for the knee. So standing pigeon pose, we start by hovering the right knee from the floor and lifting the foot up. And that right foot must be actively flexing. Then we externally rotate the thigh bone. So I'm going to lift my foot up a little bit and let that thigh bone roll open. Then I'm trying to place my right ankle above my left knee. That ankle, you're holding it there with the strength of your muscles above the knee. If it doesn't get there tonight, come back to tree pose and work on opening the hips, squeezing the outer thighs a little bit more. If the ankle's above the knee, the next step is to exhale. Start bending the standing leg and sitting back into an invisible chair. Foot active. I'm not sure if I'll be able to demonstrate the fuller version of this, but eventually the inside of the calf comes parallel to the floor and the forearms rest to that inner calf and ankle. At that point, you may release your wings out like a flying pigeon and even move the arms here. Standing leg really strong. Try to take one more breath. Those of us in standing pigeon, bring the hands back to heart. Inhale. Ooh. Try to straighten that leg. Coming up out of the pose. Then we have to lift the knee up, uncross the ankle, stretch the leg out. If you're in tree pose, point the knee forward, extend the foot, exhale down. It's a little harder to come up out of a one-legged squat position. I haven't done that one in a while. All right, other side, big breath, reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. Tree pose, heel up, knee out, balance. Standing pigeon, lift the knee up, flex the left foot. We're externally rotating that thigh bone, so roll it open. That'll start to lift the foot up. Then using your muscles, you gotta try to cross the ankle. And the ankle needs to be above your standing knee. If it's on the knee or below it, let it go tonight and just work on opening the hip more in tree pose. Next step is to sit back. You'll feel this, especially if tight hips like me. I'm getting that deep hip stretch. You may be able to bring that inner calf parallel to the floor. Not going to happen for me on this side. Forearms then rest into that inner calf and ankle. You may also try to extend your wings and even add some movement here. So the standing leg is now bent. We're in a single leg squat position. Pretty powerful pose. My tree people, keep your focus. Maybe try playing with your drishti like we did the last couple of classes. Pigeons. Bring those hands back to heart. Inhale. Try to straighten that standing leg to come back upright. We lift the knee up. Point the knee forward in tree. Stretch the leg out. Exhale. Bring it down. Take a breath. Big breath in, reach up. Stretch the body out. Exhale. All right, so we're going to make our transition back down to the ground now. We can clear our space as needed. We'll meet back at the top of our yoga mat. Stand tall in Tadasana with the feet hips width apart. Shrug the shoulders from the ears. Let the head float lightly on top of the shoulders. Back to the breath, palms out. Inhale, reach out and up. Big stretch. Drishti to thumbs for a gentle back bend. Exhale, micro bend the knees, hinge from the hips. And swan dive those arms out, down, and around. We will pause for a moment in our version of Uttanasan tonight. Do what you need to do. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, squeeze the upper back, gaze slightly forward. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, big step back to downward facing dog. Prance the legs here, or just pause in stillness. Same thing, the shoulders are moving away from the ears. The head could be floating, or draw that chin into the chest. Try to bring your drishti to your belly button. Little turns of the head peeking underneath the armpits, totally fine. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, drop the knees to the floor. We'll sit it back one more time into our child's pose. Hands can come back to the feet, dropping the head and the arms down. You may also place those hands back onto the back of the neck and shoulders, giving those muscles another massage. Or grabbing one wrist behind the low back and allowing the shoulders to fall over the thighs. Hands under the shoulders, tuck the chin, inhale, round up. Sitting up through Vajrasana. Head is the last thing to come up. We'll shift our weight over to either hip, doesn't matter, and step our feet out and forward. So it's time to make our transition all the way back down to the ground. You may Roll to one side and walk yourself down. Or plant the soles of those feet. Let those knees open wide. Strong core, pulling the belly in, reaching those fingertips forward and rolling through the spine all the way down, vertebra by vertebra. When the head comes down, we'll reach the arms overhead and stretch those legs out. Long body stretch. Float those arms down, step the feet in. Hug those knees back into the body, rock side to side. Spinal twist. Reach the arms out from the shoulders. Knees together, feet parallel. Exhale, knees to the right. Place a prop under that bottom thigh if it doesn't touch. Place the right hand on the top thigh to deepen the twist. The shoulders sink back down into the ground. The head turns to the left. Close the eyes, slow the breathing down as we come to the end of our practice. Good, next inhale, we'll take the head and knees back up to neutral. Exhale, knees to the left. Add support, left hand to top thigh to deepen the twist. Drop the right shoulder into the ground, head turns to the right. Slow, deep breaths. Bring everything out. Relax the face, the jaw, the throat, the shoulders. Next inhale brings the head and knees back to neutral. One last movement. If you feel like you need it, you can just hug your knees into the body, appreciating, loving our bodies. Nose to knees to deepen the hug. Re-extend the legs, or maybe visit a happy baby, whatever feels right for you tonight before we move into final relaxation. When we're ready to move into final relaxation this evening, give yourself the assistance of pillows and blankets as you like. You may just be in a supine shavasana, connected to the ground, or elevate the feet or the legs one more time. Give support behind the head. Loosen everything up, adjust the shoulder blades. Let those arms roll out, palms up. Let the feet flop open and out. So once we've gotten comfortable here, we've made all of our adjustments. Let's cultivate some of that stillness. I'm going to guide us through a little bit of purposeful tension and release to help clear away any lingering tension we might still have. We'll give ourselves a moment of peace and quiet. And then I'll use the singing bowl to bring us up to seated for those of us that would like to do our pranayama mantra at a moment of seated meditation. So from whatever position you're at, start to clench up just the face, making our ugliest face possible. Squish the brow, the mouth, around the eyes. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, let all those muscles relax, let them drop. Now just the hands, arms, and shoulders. So curl your hands up to 2 strong fists. Try to elevate the arms maybe an inch from the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Squeeze all those muscles as tight as we can. Deep breath in. Exhale, let them drop, let them flop. Now around the torso, the belly, and the buttocks. So draw the belly in tightly. Squeeze the glutes on the back side. Clench and tighten. Take a deep breath in, squeezing. Exhale, let them drop, let them release. Now just the feet and the legs. So try to flex the feet, spread the toes. Maybe hug all those muscles, squeeze all those muscles up the legs. The heels will pop up off the ground or prop an inch or two. Tighten and squeeze, big breath in. Exhale, let them drop, let them flop. Now we'll go for the whole body. Squeeze and tighten up the face. Furrow the brow. Make 2 strong fists. Tighten up the arms. Try to lift the arms an inch from the floor. Squeeze the abdominal muscles. Tighten the buttocks and the glutes around the hips, the thighs, the calves. Flex the feet. Spread the toes. The heels up. Every muscle in your body. Tighten and squeeze. Deep breath in. Exhale. Let it drop. Let the whole body go. Relax the whole body. All of the muscles, all of the bones, all of the internal organs. Let the breath become easy, quiet, and calm. If the mind wanders, bring it back to this peaceful breath, giving ourselves permission for one more moment of this day to let go, to relax, and to sink into Shavasana. So for choosing to come up to seated, take a moment to breathe some life back into the body. Gently start to wake the body up with little natural movements, toes, fingertips, a rock of the head, a roll of the wrists and ankles. You can take a stretch out overhead, hug the knees into the body. Remember to pause for a moment on one side in Supta Balasana. And then try to keep those eyes soft or closed to gradually bring our bodies back up into any comfortable seated position. Use support, find the sit bones. So we're going to go right into our pranayama tonight, Nadi Shodhanam, Nadi cleansing, or Anuloma Viloma, alternate nostril breathing. Posture is very important. You want to stack the spine all the way to the crown of the head. We start by bringing the hands into Chin Mudra, index finger to thumb, the other three fingers extended, resting on the knees, palms up. In your right hand, take Nasagra Mudra. Peace symbol, then glue middle finger, index finger together. Open the thumb, the ring, and pinky. Those are our pinchers. Spiral the right hand towards the face, pressing the middle and index finger into the third eye center. Rest the thumb on the outside of the right nostril, the ring and pinky on the outside of the left nostril. To begin, we inhale through both nostrils. We exhale back out through both nostrils. Then we close the right nostril with the thumb and inhale just through the left. Close the left, open the right, and exhale. Inhale back through the right. Close right, open left, exhale. That's one round. Inhale left. Close left, open right, exhale. Inhale back through the right. Close right, open left, exhale. That's 2 rounds. Continue at a comfortable rhythm with your body and breath. If you notice one side is more congested than the other, that's normal. Just do your best to breathe through that side. If the right arm or head become tired, place the left hand under the right elbow to prop it up to maintain the posture. And then the next layer that we're adding on to this is trying to mentally count the breath and trying to go for a count of 5 for every inhale and every exhale, side to side. If a count of 5 seems a little long, whatever count works for you, just keep that same number on every inhale, every exhale, side to side. Whatever round you're currently on, finish that full round. Take your time. The round finishes on that next exhale out the left nostril. When you get to that point, exhale fully out the left nostril. At the bottom of that exhale, release the hands back down to the knees in Chin Mudra. Sit up a little taller through the crown of the head. The face is completely relaxed. Concentrate the mind's eye at that third eye center, the acupressure point we created at Agnya Chakra, our place of intuition and wisdom. Feel the weight of the shoulders and elbows, the gentle weight of the hands on the knees. Notice the contact points with the body and the props and floor below it, allowing the lower half of the body to be grounded. And then stretching and elongating the spine upwards towards the sky through the crown of the head. So I'm going to go right into the final mantras for this evening's class. If you'd like to join along, if you have your mantra sheet, feel free to softly open the eyes and follow along. Otherwise, continue to sit with the breath. We'll start with the Om Purna mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. And then being mindful of our surroundings, we'll take just a couple more breaths together tonight. Re-extend those arms out beside the body, palms up. Let's take another big breath in through the nose, reaching those arms all the way up to the ceiling and gathering up everything we need for the rest of our evening. Turn the palms out, big exhale, float the fingertips all the way back down to the ground and let go of all that other junk we don't need this evening. And then one more time, inhaling, arms up. We'll bring the palms together, exhale, hands to heart, humbly bowing our head down to our heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and anyone else that made it possible for us to practice our yoga together tonight.